saying either way we bout to slide. Hey, can't let this one slide. Don't you wanna dance with me? I could dance like Michael Jackson. I could give you the back. There's a fella in the track. Baby, don't you wanna dance with me? I could dance like Michael Jackson. I could give you satisfaction. And you know we out here every day with it. I'ma show you how to get it. It go right foot up, left foot slide, left foot up, right foot slide. Basically I'm saying the way we gotta slide. Dance like Michael Jackson. I could give you the back. There's a thriller in the track. Baby, don't you wanna dance with me? No, I could dance like Michael Jackson. I could give you satisfaction. And you know we out here every day with it. I'ma show you how to get it. It go right foot up, left foot slide, left foot up, right foot slide. Basically, I'm saying either way we about to slide.
Niggas been counting me out. I'm counting my bullets, I'm loading my clips. I'm writing down names, I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice and I'm getting them hit. The real ones been dying, the fake ones is lit. The game is off balance, I'm back on my shit. The Bentley is dirty, my sneakers is dirty, but that's how I like it. You all on my dick, I'm all in my bag. It's hard as it get. I do not throw powder, I might take a sip. I might hit the blunt, but I'm liable to trip. I ain't popping no pill, but you do as you wish. I roll with some fiends, I love them to death. I got a few mil, but not all of them rich. What good is the bread if my niggas is broke? What good is first class if my niggas can't sit? That's my next mission, that's why I can't quit. Just like LeBron, get my niggas more chips. Just put the rollie right back on my wrist. This watch came from Drizzy, he gave me a gift. Back when the rap game was praying like this. To act like two legends cannot coexist. But I never beef with a nigga for nothing. If I smoke a rapper, it's gon' be legit. It won't be for clout, it won't be for fame. It won't be cause my shit ain't selling the same. It won't be to sell you my latest little sneakers. It won't be cause some niggas slid in my lane. Everything grows, it's destined to change. I love you little niggas, I'm glad that you came. I hope that you scrape every dollar you gain. I hope you know money won't erase the pain. To the OGs, I'm begging you now. Was watching you when you was caving the ground. I copied your cadence, I'm living your style. I studied the grace, I'm the greatest right now. Fuck if you feel me, you ain't got a choice. I ain't do no promo, still made all that noise. This shit gon' be different, I set my intentions. I promise to slap all that hate out your voice. Niggas been counting me out, I'm counting my bullets, I'm loading my clips, I'm writing down names, I'm making a list, I'm checking it twice and I'm getting them hits. The real ones been dying, the fake ones is lit. The game is off balance, I'm back on my shit. The Bentley is dirty, my sneakers is dirty, but that's how I like it, you all on my dick. I just poured something in my cup. I've been wanting something I can feel. Promise I am never letting up. Money in your car will make you rich. Put it on their neck, I got them stuck. I'm gonna give them something they can feel. If it ain't about the swag, don't give a fuck. Pistol in your hand, I'm dead in the middle of two generations. I'm little bro and big bro all at once. Just left the lab with young 21 Savage. I'm about to go on me, Jigga for lunch. Had a long talk with a young nigga Kodak. Reminded me of young niggas from Ville. Straight out the project, no faking, just honest. I wish that he had more guidance for real. Too many niggas in cycle of jail. Spending their birthdays inside of a cell. We coming from a long bloodline of trauma. We raised by our mamas, Lord, we gotta heal. We hurting our sisters, the babies as well. We killing our brothers, they poison the well. Distorted self-image, we settle the fail. I'ma make sure that the real gon' prevail, yeah. I just poured something in my cup. I've been wanting something I can feel. Promise I am never letting up. Money in your phone will make you rich. Put it on their neck, I got them stuck. I'ma give them something they can feel. If it ain't about the swag, don't give a fuck. Just to lay your hand don't make you real.
Get the bag and fumble it, I get the bag and flip it and tumble it. Straight off the lot, 300 cash, and the car came with a blunt in it. Lil' mama a thot, and she got ass, and she gon' fuck up a bag. Pull up to the spot, living too fast, dropping the deep in the stash. In Italy, got two foreign hoes, they feel me. Draw at the top, when it's cold, but you feel the heat. Be real with me, keep it 100, just be real with me. Eat it up like it's a feast, they say the dope don't sleep.
Fuckers that feel on me, and somebody baby chill with me. Them niggas that fucked in the back don't say nothing, them niggas are kill for me. Back as I count on my sleep on fleek, and I can't spit on that body for leave. Bitch, I'm a dog in my tree. How about the fog and leave? I put them bricks in the front of my bitch, she walk around like she Cristiano. I used to break in the hammer, then take up running like the game of tempo. It's simple, I play with a mental.
What's going on? What's cracking, party people? You are now tuned into Stackin Boston, a part of Stackin Stylez 2020. Stackin Boston is an initiative that was pretty much created to bridge the gap between generations through storytelling. So within that, every year at Stackin Stylez, we have a panel discussion with one of Boston's very own OGs, maybe one or two, and we also have that panel discussion with some of the talent that's at the event, some of the judges, and guest speakers and stuff like that. But this year we online, so we decided to take this thing up a notch, and I had a whole project planned for the summer that had to get shut down, but it actually, I'm a little grateful that it forced me into such a creative space with this project, because now it's become so much bigger than what it was going to be. Not to say that it wasn't going to be great, but what we were planning to do was throw a whole bunch of block parties in different neighborhoods in Boston. Let's make sure my audio is good. In different neighborhoods in Boston, and kind of create this public art structure that invited, some of the elders in the community, some of the influences in this Boston community, and just the people of the neighborhood to interact and learn more about this street dance history that we have in Boston. Of course, we couldn't do that, but now, we are in the process of creating a digital story map, which you'll be able to tap into. Actually have these, we redesigned the map of Boston. We got all the neighborhoods on it. And what's going to happen is when you see this design as a public art structure in the city, you're going to be able to hold up your phone, and then it's going to actually take you to the actual digital story map, like a QR code, and you'll get to learn about all these different stories from all these incredible people that have made this scene what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that design is also going to be featured on the back of the Stackin Stylez 2020 official t-shirt. So people will be able to go up to the t-shirt, hold their phone up, and it's going to animate the design. It's kind of crazy, yo. Shout out to Pro Black for putting me onto that. You know what I'm saying? And helping out a brother, you know what I mean? And that's what we do here in this city, man. We really try to, find ways that we can support each other and create across the lines, across the borders. You feel me? With that being said, just to give you a little bit more on how things are going to flow, we do have more interviews coming. Like, we have a lot more. There's a lot more people that it's going to be on a continual basis. All of the data that we collect is going to be put into this digital story map that is also going to be archived. So shout out to one of our partners, which is the Mass Hip Hop Archive. Shout out to my guy, Pacey Foster, who's holding it down and actually teaching me how to do this legitly so that we can start, documenting our history and our stories. A big reason why I wanted to do this initiative is because I feel like, aside from just dancing and entertaining, and battling and such, I feel like our story, our intellectual property is also valuable. So I wanted to create a way for our elders to be able to take a break. I don't really feel like, especially the ones who are actually elder in age, should be out here just like traveling and dancing and trying to teach. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they should be able to relax, get paid to tell their story, and then also just dance when they want to, not because they have to. You feel me? So this is an initiative that's launched to pretty much, start to create a economy based around, actually realizing the value in these stories that we have, and I know documentation has been a little bit all over the place in our community, but me as well as others who are stepping into this space and creating these initiatives are coming and following those tracks and providing solutions. So I really feel like having a story-based catalog is something that is able to reflect back to the young people in the community so that they know and have access to information about how people have been successful in different categories of life. When I was younger, a lot of the adults were pushing me in a direction of we want you guys to have this particular type of career or that particular type of career. And then I stepped into this dance world, you know, without even really knowing about the history. And I learned about all these amazing people who've impacted people around the world, you know, who we're going to talk about in this interview today. So I feel like this is a good way to kind of bridge the gap, you know, and keep that energy flowing and kind of bring some of that the energy that we build up in the dance community, all of the stories, all the experience, and kind of like bring that energy back to the community. You know what I'm saying? So there's a whole lot of layers to this whole thing, and I'm excited to be trying this thing out. You know, if y'all know, this is my first time ever doing a live stream series. If y'all been following Stackin Stylez, which the finals is tomorrow, and you know, we're just shooting for it. Everybody in 2020 is taking on a whole new step in their path, trying to adjust and do their thing. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for tuning in and you know, supporting and being a part of this experience. Before we get into our guest speaker today, I want to talk a little bit more about Stackin Stylez. This is a fundraiser. We have a huge fundraise initiative, and I'm trying to pull it up right now. Hopefully my screen is gonna be okay. Here we go. All right, I'm a little close. I'm looking a little crazy right now. But yeah, we are trying to raise $15,000, you know, which will be matched by Red Bull. What we did was we got, you know, 16 battle guests together from all around the world, dancers who have been a part of the Stackin Stylez experience, and we had them partner up with nonprofits in their own community. More specifically, like grassroots nonprofits is what we were pushing for, because they are the ones that are cushioning the blow of this pandemic. They're on the ground and really helping and holding things down. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much we're raising a giant pot. We're raising for just like a giant fundraise pot, and the battle guests have been battling for donations to go to their nonprofit as they move forward in the bracket. So every nonprofit receives a donation. It's 16 nonprofits, and then as dancers move forward, their nonprofit receives more. So we got Kata in the finals, aka Inferna, and we got Staccato in the final. Kata is actually from Boston, and she's representing Artists for Humanity, where she actually went as a teen, and it's really, really dope that we get to just create these full circle moments. And then Staccato is representing Defining Movement down in Florida, which is a nonprofit organization started by a dancer in the community. Shout out to Jolene. And she's pretty much helping young dancers and young artists with resources to help them develop their career as an artist. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good things that are being supported, and we could really use your help. So, you know, tune into our campaign, and, you know, yeah, we doing the thing, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And this is a little bit of a snapshot of how the money's gonna be distributed if we reach our goal. If we don't reach our goal, it'll be broken down by percentages based on these numbers. But yeah, this is how we breaking it down. This is how much money is going out to nonprofits, and it's also a portion of that money is gonna go towards helping me solidify Stackin Stylez and some of my other services as a nonprofit, so we can continue to do work just like this to help support our community, and provide opportunities to young dancers, and continue to create meaningful initiatives. And this is also to help, because we are going to be bringing the live event back hopefully next year, but if not, in 2022. And this will be helping with funds for that, because these are all expensive initiatives. I can tell you right now, over the past 4 years, I've probably invested somewhere close to like $40,000 into this entire my community. So it's like, yeah, you know, we're really pushing and really holding it down, you know. And here's some of the nonprofit partners that we have on board. As you can see, they're from all over the world, different states, even one in Senegal, which is, you know, an entirely different country. So yeah, we doing it big like that. You feel me? We doing it big like that. So yeah, I mean, let's get into what we came here to do. You know, I had the pleasure of catching up with the homie Alex Diaz earlier this week, and we got to talking about a lot of really dope things. Usually I try to create like a kind of like a script or a blueprint. I try to, like, you know, get more centered into like a specific story, but we had such a dope conversation that I kind of just want to recreate that same energy. I don't feel like it would be as deep as we went if we scripted it, you know. So I was like, man, bump the notes. let's just get on here and have a conversation. This dude has so much knowledge to share, you know what I'm saying, and so much so much love to share, man. Like, his heart, I feel like it's super pure, and like just from his life experiences and what he's been able to accomplish, dog, is, you know, it's commendable. You know what I'm saying? I certainly look up to him, and it's crazy that this is a full circle moment because, and I mean, we didn't really notice at the time, but we actually went to the same elementary school. I remember a kid breakdancing in the cafeteria, but I didn't connect the dots, you know what I'm saying, till one of my friends was like, yo, did you know that was, yeah? I was like, what? Say word. So it's a small world in the city of Boston that, you know, two young hitters, two young veterans in different dance scenes, you know, and now sitting here, you know, bringing this value back for the peoples, you feel me? So without further ado, you know what I'm saying, I want to, you know, introduce the brother, Alex Diaz, El Niño, you feel me?
Yo, what up? What's good? Let me move over here. Yeah. I'm like all over the place. What's up, y'all? What's good?
Yeah, man.
What's the deal?
It's lit, man. So I guess, you know, to start this thing off, just give a little bit. I mean, I'll ask more questions, but just give the people a little bit about your background, more specifically, like what neighborhood you're from, how you moved around, you know what I'm saying, and just talk about your background a little bit.
Word, man. Well, yeah, man. I grew up on Humboldt and Homestead Street. You know, it's basically right in the middle between Roxbury and Dorchester.
Yeah.
And we used to practice, you know, for those of you who were around back then, we used to practice at the famous Hennigan spot, you know. You know, it was a spot that was just open to the public, open to all dancers, just walk in, practice. And so through that experience of practicing there, you know, I just met a lot of dope people. A lot of people from the neighborhood, from all over Boston, really. But yeah, that was where my journey started. You know, I would say early to mid 90s, you know. And yeah, I mean, the story goes deeper than that.
Oh, know? Yeah. So, like,
you know, I was.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So you moved around a lot, though. So, like, you know, I know we were focusing on Dorchester. We used Dorchester as a base for this particular project, but you moved around a good amount. What other neighborhoods in Boston did you live in?
Right, man. So my mother was on Section 8, and so, you know, we moved around Boston a lot. Every 2 years or so, we were moving.
I can relate.
So I lived.
Same.
Yeah, man. I lived everywhere, all over Dorchester, Roxbury, Hyde Park. I'm back in Hyde Park now. But yeah, it was definitely an experience. Just, you know, switching schools, having to go through neighborhoods, having to practice in different neighborhoods, kind of, you know, running into a little bit of trouble here and there, you know. But, you know, dance was the glue that kept it all together for me. You know what I mean? Just sort of kept me out of trouble. You know, I got into my little issues here and there, you know, but dance was always a part of my life.
Same. So, you know what I'm saying? Like you're like the golden child of the Floorlords, man, and it's like it's fire. I don't know how you feel about people saying that, but it's a fire title. Like the Floorlords, if y'all don't know, is a legendary crew out of Boston that's been representing since the '80s, if I stand correct. You know what I'm saying? Doing their thing and worldwide. I mean, when I first started traveling as a dancer, I was going to different states and countries, and they're like, "Where you from?" "I'm from Boston." They're like, "Yo, Floorlords crew." I'm like, "Yeah, Floorlords." Like, so the name rings bells around the world, and you know, Lino is actually your uncle. Talk about your family. Talk about how deep your family is in this community.
Yeah, man. So like I said, you know, the story gets deep, man. I grew up seeing my uncles, my extended uncles. I see Shallows tuned in. You know, I
Hey,
Shallows was an uncle of mine.
facts.
You know, Dash was an uncle of mine. You know, these guys, Tron, Megatron. I call those guys my extended uncles. But yeah, I just grew up watching these guys get busy in my grandmother's living room. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And that
Where was
was
that? Where was that located?
and it was that was in Roxbury, actually right across the street from my house, which was on Homestead, H block. Um, and so yeah, it was an inspiration to be around all these men who were, you know, because when you think about men, you think of, you know, your father who's a plumber or, you know, or an electrician or whatever. And I just seen these grown men expressing themselves through dance.
Yeah, that's
And I
inspiring.
looked up to them. You know, I looked up to of course, my older brother, Bboy Flight, you know, Lino, my uncle Nas. And so to see these brothers doing their thing and the passion that they had, you know, it just kind of really trickled down to me and generations after that as well. Like my little brother breaks, you know, and it just keeps going. It's the inspiration that keeps going. You know, now my son is breaking, so you
Wow.
know, yeah, it's like my son is 6 years
Alright.
old now,
Woo.
and he's starting to break, and that's around the same time that I started.
That's
So it's
crazy.
kind of like times you don't even realize, yeah, you don't even realize, you know, what you're doing. You're inspiring people and you don't even know it. You know what I mean? So that was really dope to come up during those times as a kid and just be around hip hop culture like so young.
Yeah, you were in the thick of it, man. You had all the legends, like, which is fire because I didn't necessarily have that on the dance side. Like, you know, my family, we just got down. Like, it's just a part of our culture. On the
Right.
music side, there's a lot of hitters and a lot of legends, and you know what I'm saying. But I actually get to have that experience kind of now cycled into my son. Like all my son's uncles and you know extended uncles and friends, best friends, they're all legendary dancers. Like you know what I'm saying. I'm like my son got more of a commendable career than I do right now. Like, and I've been at it for like 15 years with this thing.
But
You know
that's a
what I'm
blessing, right? That's a blessing.
saying? Yeah.
That's a blessing,
He's
man.
like
Like for
labbing with
real.
Storyboard P, battling Rashad and Monster Pop, and you know what I'm saying, like getting
He's
crazy.
around it. He's
Yeah.
around it. And and yeah, and at the end of the day, you're gonna want him to be better than you, right? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he got the head start, you know?
That's if he wants to dance. I don't know what he's gonna do. This guy's
Right,
brilliant.
right, right. 'Cause I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Like I don't force my son to dance. He's around it if he wants to, you know, which
Yeah.
he does it. You know, but he's into, you know, he's into video games, he's into dancing, he's
Same.
into a lot, you know, but
Same. They got we
but
giving him the world. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but he definitely has the natural talent for it. I will say that, you know, but whatever he wants to do, I'm here to support it, you
That's
know.
fire, man. Young fathers in the game. Shout out to the young fathers doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? So, I
All right.
we young. We just started getting into this dance thing. We got influences. We got you know, people in our family leading the way, and you're just kind of following in the footsteps. Like, when did you first decide, like, man, I'm getting serious about this? Like, when did it really click for you? Like,
Well, at first, I wasn't really like, I was just watching and observing. I wasn't able to like go to practice or anything like that. So once my mom like gave me the green light to say like, okay, Lino, you can take him to practice, it was pretty much a wrap after that. When I started going to practice, I just, that's all I would do. I was one of those kids that rather than go to the playground, I would practice. I mean, I'd go to the playground too, but I was already like a hype kid.
yeah,
I was a hyper kid, and I was like kind of a daredevil. Like I was the kid that would climb up the tree, do a backflip off the branch, and you know what I mean? So I kind of just transferred all that energy into breaking. You know what I mean? It was a natural progression for me. So yeah, man. Once I kind of got the basics down, and I seen what was possible, and like I said, watching my uncles and the crew, and seeing what they could do and the possibilities, it was a wrap after that. I was just like, man, I want to get that good one day.
Yeah. So when you really started tuning in, like I feel like you probably just jumped into the thick of it. Like you was probably already performing, you was probably already traveling and battling. You know what I'm saying? What type of activity? What was the activity like? You know what I'm saying, when you first really started chopping?
Right. Well, the funny thing is, I still remember my first show. It was in JP, and I still remember like our first routine, because it wasn't just me. It was also me, my cousin Lean Rock, and then I had another cousin Rhino, and we were all the same age. Rhino was like 6, a little bit younger than me. I was 6, and Lean Rock was like 7. And I remember Lino teaching us our first routine. It was super trash. It was super easy. but yeah, I remember going onto the stage and rocking that routine, and like seeing the crowd. And after that, man, it was just like, wow, performing in front of a crowd was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, And the bug definitely hit me after that first show.
Word. And y'all after that, man, y'all got around. You told me you was performing for the Puerto Rican festival, like mad
right,
different. I know y'all was doing hella talent shows. Like, what talent shows was y'all getting into?
Well, the Hennigan where we practiced, they always held an annual talent show, and we would always perform there for the kids, which was special. That's actually the first time where I met my wife. Now, actually, what? She used to do the baton twirling.
Oh, snap! I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah, so I remember meeting her in the cafeteria of the Hennigan for the first time.
How old was y'all?
Man, this was a little bit later, but it was still the same talent show.
Yeah.
Same place. But yeah, man, I remember the crew going to New York to do the Puerto Rican festival out there. We do the Puerto Rican Dominican festival here in Boston too. I remember one time the crew went out to New York to perform with Big Pun, and I was salty. I was so salty because I acted up in school, and because I acted up in school, my mom said I couldn't go. And I was such a huge fan of Big Pun too, so I kind of missed out on that.
Dang. Get your act right, man. Bet you won't act up again. That's a big one too. Shout out to Big Pun, R.I.P. Yo.
Yeah, man. Yeah, bro. Acting up in school, man. Being a fool. That's crazy too. I remember it's crazy because I didn't know we went to elementary school together. But when you mentioned it to me on the phone, I was like, wait, I remember you. I remember seeing you in the Beethoven, which is crazy. So that's wild. That's wild.
I was young and wild
too. You connected those dots for me.
Yeah, I was like, that's crazy. It's
You
crazy.
know the world works. The world is crazy, man. It works. Everything comes full circle.
It really does, man. And that's one thing that like I've learned being here in Boston. It's just how, and even branching out from Boston, man, like it's a giant web, man. We connected everywhere. And that's why like our stories are important. You know what I mean? Like we're not just out here living separate experience, man. Like we're all tied together in some degree, and I feel like the toughest thing that we haven't really conquered yet as a human species is communication. I
Oh,
feel like
that's a fact.
thousands of years we done been here for a grip, and we still
That's a
haven't
fact.
learned how to effectively communicate. We got all the means to, you know what I'm saying? So like a lot of my events, a lot of the things that I put together are I try to filter in some of my what the questions that I have in my mind, what like is in my heart, these call to actions to get people to like really look at themselves, man, and force us into a space where we could talk. Like I feel like, there's so much distance, and we feel like we gotta like stay the path. We gotta like push ourselves into a corner sometimes because life can get crazy, that the communication could fall short. But once we open up in conversation, we'll find out, dang, we actually went to middle school. I mean, we went to elementary school together. Oh, dang, you know this person. Oh, you know that. Oh, we was thinking the same things at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right,
crazy.
right. We all connected somehow, man. And the thing is, too, the Boston scene, is much smaller than a lot of other scenes. It's not like New York. So I think, New York is huge with all the boroughs and all that. So I think for us, it's much easier to connect. It's much easier to support each other. It's much easier to collaborate rather than, try to have, different movements. And I'm always doing a bunch of stuff, but I always support and watch what you do. I'm always watching what
Likewise.
Brian's doing, and anybody who's doing positive things in the scene. We need you. We need more leaders in our community. And yeah, man. So I commend you. This is really dope what you're doing, and I think it's important. And I just want to thank you personally for this. Because it's not easy. I know you're putting in a lot of work to make this happen, and the timeline is really dope. I know just in general, that's a lot of work to try to put that together. Nobody's done it, so yeah, just want to commend you for that, my brother.
Hey man, that means a lot. I appreciate your words and thank you for being a part of this, man. Like, I put the word out, you followed up, and you just been on point, man. And that shit means a lot. Like that
I'm actually,
energy.
by the way, it's an honor too, not to cut you off, but it's an honor for you to even like consider me an OG, OG. So, yeah, man, that's an honor. I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro. Nah, it's deserved. It may not be in a sense of like, elder years, or I guess one of the original B-boys. You know what I'm saying? But like, OG, like, it could mean some different things to certain people. You know what I'm saying? Like and growing up in my neighborhood, anybody that was had anybody that like was willing to share their influence, willing to like give us a little bit of foresight on what we were embarking on. Like we called them OG, you know what I mean? Like there was people that was when I was 15, 13, like, and they was 20, they wasn't old, but we like, hey, okay, OG, I respect that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you got a lot of, you've been everywhere, man. Like and we'll get into that. Like you've done a lot of shit, man. You got a lot of experience under your belt, man. Maybe in some degrees a little more than some of the people who came before. You know what I'm saying? Like you've been able to take where they left off, and really like move your energy across the world. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely deserved in my book, and your story definitely deserves to get heard. You know what I'm saying? Along the line, in the same lines and categories with a lot of our elders who have so much wisdom to share. You feel me? So yeah, well deserved, bro. You know what I'm saying? Tell the people
Yeah.
about your journey, man. They got to know what you've been doing, man. Like,
Well, I think, I will say this. I think, like, just like any journey, it starts off with a lot of work, you know what I mean? And so the beginning, for me was just, training and trying to earn my own spot within my own crew. Because at that time, my skill level wasn't even compared to the rest of the crew. I was a kid. So, when you do crew battles and stuff, there's always, you got the team A and team B and team C. I wanted to be on like team A, but that was Lefty, Flex, Lino, my older brother Flight. Those guys were amazing. Flex, I always like to shout them out because those guys all inspired me a great deal. But I wanted to be like on team A, you know what I mean? So there was always two things that me and my cousins would talk about. Was like, we want to be on team A one day and battle with the big dogs. And that, when Float got out, when he got out of prison, we wanted to be really dope. We just wanted to be dope for him. That was like our goals,
yeah.
And so I just worked hard I worked hard for quite a while. I say like 8 years or more of training and trying to get really dope. And then, I'd say the first big milestone of my career probably came when I was around 11, almost 12 years old, which is the famous, Lords of the Floor battle.
Yeah.
Where KML pulled me out of the bag. And, it's kind of a legendary story in our community. And then after that, we ended up winning that. That was the first big Red Bull battle that had happened. That was the second year of it, right? And so here I am, this 11-year-old kid who won, this prestigious Red Bull battle so young.
Dang.
But then, and then from there, came a few things, bigger shows, more gigs and stuff like that. But it wasn't all. It was a gap, from age 11. At that time, I got a growth spurt, and like I went through a rough patch
through the puberty
in my life.
Boys got
Yeah, like I got heavier, you know what I'm saying? So the moves that I got used to became harder. So I had a little rough patch from like age 11 to age 16, I would say 15, 16, where I had to train again, and then I trained hard again. But then around 15, 16, that's where I would say I finally mastered my style. And
wow.
I felt complete. So from age 6 to age 16, that's what. Oh, somebody said Missy Elliott, Shallow. Missy Elliott was huge. I went on tour with Missy, so that was really huge. I was on like the David Letterman show, the Jay Leno show. A bunch of we did Mad TV, and that was really huge too. And but at that time I was still like trying to get better and better.
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy. I wasn't like really happy with my style. It wasn't complete to me. But then around 15, 16 is where I'll say I finally like really grown into my dance and into my style. So it took a whole 10 years to get there. That was where I started to really solidify my name in the scene as as one of the best in the crew, Floorlords, but also I would say at least one of the best in the East Coast and maybe the world. I don't know. People consider that. I don't know. I try not to consider myself anything really. It's just a journey for me.
Nah,
It's just
say
a,
that. Say that.
It's just a, it's just a journey in the dance.
You work
me,
for
you
it,
know
man. You work for it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think the main thing that drove me to really work that hard was I just wanted to put the crew on my back, and I wanted to put Boston on my back, and I wanted to make everybody proud. You know what I mean? So that was the drive behind all that.
Give me 1 second.
They said no audio.
Oh, it was when I went to this screen. Dang. Yeah, that's the thing about this thing. I'm still learning this program. Like, if I'm not, usually for a broadcast, like, man, I have so much respect for TV. You got people specifically about the audio, people specifically about the frames and the scenes and all that stuff. And I could make a scene and then one of the options might be muted for whatever reason. It's just the automatic setting. And you know what I'm saying? If I'm not constantly looking at the audio, it'll mute. And I'm like, dang, man, like, it's crazy. It's crazy, but we still learning, and we gonna adapt, man. It's only the first year. We gonna continue this, this live stream thing. And
2020, everybody gotta adapt.
You feel me?
Especially if you're an artist, man. This has been a crazy year.
Man, tell me about it. Speaking of crazy, man, like one thing about Boston, especially growing up, you know what I'm saying? Growing up H Block, like, from at a Penn, I moved around a lot in Dorchester as well, in Hyde Park. Like, it's not, you have this dance as an escape, you have this dance as something to look forward to, but I can't imagine it was at all easy, just navigating. I can imagine that there was a lot of hiccups. Tell me about, what it's like just growing up in the city of Boston, you know what I'm saying? Like, and how that intersected with your dance, you know what I'm saying?
Word. Well, yeah, there was a couple of things, a couple of struggles that happened in my life. Everybody goes through things. One of the first things that was pretty crazy was I had to change schools again, and I started going to the Lewis, right? And when I went to the Lewis, at that time, I was still practicing in JP at the Hennigan, and I would have to get off at Jackson Square and walk through the projects, through Heath Street projects. And, there was a couple times where I get run up on, you know what I'm saying? People try to press me, and I had to walk through these projects every day to get to practice, you know what I mean? And so that was like, man, all right, now this is getting kind of out of hand. Like, I got to save up my money from dance and get me a car. You know what I'm saying? Because
Facts.
I can't keep walking through these projects every day. But, luckily, my Uncle Lino, being the OG that he is and knowing a lot of people in the city, he linked me up with Big Dane. And Big Dane, knew a lot of people in the projects. And so, through my OGs, I was able to get the green light, you know what I'm saying, to walk through Heath Street, even though they knew I was from H Block. So that was like one thing, and then just, I had homies, friends that I grew up with that were into things that I wasn't necessarily into, but they were my fan. They were people that I hung out with, friends of mine, and them being into what being into what they were doing, and me just hanging out with them. It's been quite a few times, a handful of times where I'm just hanging out on the block and a shootout happened. There was a couple times, at least twice, where I almost got shot. And then on top of that, in 2012, one of my best friends, also a student of mine, one of my top students, also inspiration of mine, just his energy. He was just a really good dude, good kid. He got shot in the head and killed back in 2012. And so, that really, when that happened, I was just like, oh man, like, you know, it kind of just paused my world, and caused me to really just focus on dance, and, you know, change some of the friends that were around me. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, you know, it's for me, I think once I changed, you know, some of the friends, some of the people that I was hanging out with, and just changed my circle to a more positive circle, you know, things changed for me, and just focusing on the good things in life, you know, focusing on family, focusing on dance, just everything positive, you know what I mean? Everything changed for me at that point, you know? So yeah, so I've been through a few things, you know, just like any kid in the inner city, you know what I mean? Growing up, trying to figure it out, you know?
That's exactly what we trying to do, man. Like, you know, people from our background, we learn we learn adult lessons real quick, you know what I'm saying, real early on, you know, and I can relate to that, you know, especially since, you know, my parents being on Section 8 and moving to different neighborhoods, you know, although, like, you know, a good amount of the time I was good in most places, there was still a lot of situations that got super crazy, you know what I'm saying? And like I same thing with the changing schools. Like I went over to the Mildred. That was when they first built it, you know, when I was living in Mattapan. I went to the Mildred Ave, and there was a lot of, like, because it was a new school, a lot of kids from a lot of different neighborhoods, like, they wanted to be at this new school that they just built. And that was a clash in itself. I mean, it was literally crazy. And I remember I had two options, you know, like, I would either to get home, like, because I live right in between River Street and Morton Street, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, to get home, the easiest way to go was to go up Norfolk, hit Morton, and head to the spot. But that's where everything was happening, yo. Like, literally, we was getting into altercations all the time, walking. And I'm like, dog, like, can y'all leave us little ass kids alone, nigga? Like, and in the other direction, there was actually this girl, and I hope she never see this. There was this girl that used to live kind of close to where you living at now. She lived in the high, like, at the High Park side of Mattapan area, and she was this girl Shadon. I'll never forget. She was tall. She was a little bigger than me, yo. Like, and she just liked me, and I was like, man, I just don't want to have to walk this way all the time. Like,
that's too funny, man. Yo, it's a small world, man. Flo said, he said, I went to the Mildred.
Damn.
Y'all probably went at the same time.
We probably went there. Yo, Flo, was you there when they first? Yeah, that shit was chaos. Was you there when they first opened up?
That's crazy.
So from the Mildred, it's actually when my parents was like, yo, we got to do something. So, like, I ended up getting into a big fight that actually started a brawl. Like, it wasn't intentional. Like, we had a substitute teacher. There was a kid in my class talking crazy madness, and I was like, everybody was just like, dog, shut up, dog. Like, relax, bro. Like, I know you showing off because we got the substitute, but we really just trying to get out of here. Like, and he was just making everything difficult, man. And then he disrespected this girl. I was like, you crossing the line. And then I ended up fighting this dude, pulled him into the hallway. And then all of a sudden, there was already a lot of kids in the hallway, but they seen this fight. It got crazy. And then everybody used that as an opportunity to fight. So I got in hella trouble. And I remember my mom looking at me, like, looking at my brothers and my cousin, like, all right, nigga, like, we out. I ain't doing this, yo. Like, it's everywhere we go. Like, so we actually moved out to Norwood. And it's crazy because, you know, a lot of kids from the hood were moving out to Norwood. First, it was gentrification. All the prices were getting a little crazy. That was like the first wave of it. So it was kind of the same thing there. Like, there was, like, you know, kids from Heat, kids from the Pen, kids from Academy, kids from H Block, like, kids from Walnut. And it could have been Dudley Street. It could have been the same thing. But out there, because we went to a like mostly white school, we actually became friends. You know what I'm saying? So all of my best friends were from different hoods that, you know, probably wouldn't have, well, not probably, but just didn't get along. But we got real close, yo, and that was my clique, you know what I'm saying? And the same thing, you know, happened to me in terms of like, you know, one of my best friends, Terrence, actually passed away, you know, and he was really young, man. He didn't get to like, and it's crazy because, yeah, it's just crazy, man. Like growing up, like having to deal with those situations at a young age definitely gives you perspective. And then when you have something like dance, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's for me, it was a no-brainer for me, man. Like as soon as, you know, one of my big homies was like, "Hey, we can do this dance thing, man. Like let's get it." I was like, "Man, I don't want to do anything else."
Right.
You know?
You think about it in, you know, the same situation in Norwood, but you bring it to, you know, the Mildred area. You know, there's a lot of kids with no guidance. You know what I mean? The parents gotta work 2-3 jobs to make ends meet, and so the streets end up, you know, raising us sometimes at some points. Crazy thing too, I lived on Morton Street too at one point.
Damn, yo, we was following each other.
That's crazy. I didn't go to the Mildred though. I didn't. But I was in 2006 to like 2008. I was in Morton.
Wow.
You know, and in the projects up there, I remember I went to a party and I almost got into something over there. I was like,
yeah, that's my neighborhood, man. It's crazy over there.
Yeah. Man, I had to get up out of there.
Oh yeah, nah, it's unfortunate because although on the outside, if you just highlight all the fucking crazy shit that went down, it sounds mad as fuck. But there's actually a lot of love, you know what I mean? And it gave me, moving out gave me a deeper appreciation of it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, of course not the negative shit that a lot of people focus on, but man, like moving out there, you know, like maybe there was some fights and shit like that. You know, there's a lot of racial shit going on, but there was no love. All we had was each other. So we just, that's where our friendship grew. But just the way the general people move, there was no love there. But you know what I'm saying? On my neighborhood, I got mad memories, yo, of like other adults, you know, taking me in, you know what I'm saying, as their own child. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just like the language was different. The way people communicated, so different, which is, you know, why I was like, I got real acquainted with that 34E. I was like, nigga, I'm going back because there ain't no love out here. This is weird, nigga. This is get out in this motherfucker. Like, yeah, for real, yo. But that's crazy though, you know. So you have these experiences, and you know, I guess they're generationally they're pushing you towards your passion, you know what I'm saying, as an escape, you know, because I know we had a conversation about, you know, your uncle and the two different influences that you had, and the reason why Niño was like, yo, we got to do this thing. Talk a little bit about that, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, I think Niño just understood because he grew up in Boston, you know, in the 70s to the 80s, where, you know, it was very you had to deal with not only the hood, but it was a lot of racism going on. You know, I know he told me that he went to Charlestown back in those days. Oh, man. Now, I remember him telling me he would have to fight white boys every day. He would have to fight racist white guys leaving high school. And then his brother, my other uncle Nas, was, you know, he got caught up in the streets. He got caught up with drugs, and you know, I saw a lot of that, and so I knew better. You know, it's just sometimes you get caught up. You know what I mean? So I got caught up for a little bit and had to just focus on dance. But luckily, you know, Niño was always pushing positivity because he had already been through it. He had already seen it all, you know. And to me, you know, I'm thankful for that. And for that,
Shout
it
out
was
to
almost
Lino.
like, yeah, it was almost like, you know, I want to honor that and honor the crew and, you know, by just becoming the best that I can be, the best person, the best version that I can be. And that's what I strive to this day, not only within dance, but, you know, for my family, for my son, for my wife, you know, and that all comes from, you know, having a father figure like Lino, you know, and I had my dad as well. You know, so, you know, everybody plays a part, and who you become, you know, and sometimes you gotta be that person for yourself, you know what I mean? And that's when it really becomes tough, you know. Luckily for me, I had a huge support system, and yeah, super thankful for that.
Yeah, man, that's tight, man, and you've become is like literally incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like you've done a lot of great work. Let's actually tune in to one of your battles, man. One of your big wins, man. Tell me about this win we got queued up.
Word. So, is the audio there? Is the audio working?
Yep.
Cool. So this battle right here, man, this was special to me, because it was my second one-on-one freestyle session championship that I had won. And what was special to me about this one as well is that, like, I had a lot of my crew members there, which was dope. The first one, I had my wife there, so that one was special too. But this one was special because, you know, battling Issei was who I'm a huge fan of. I know he publicly said that he's a fan of me as well. But he was just killing it this particular year. And it was just dope for me to prove to myself that I could beat him, because he had beat me in a competition like 2 months before this, or like a month before this. And so this was like the revenge right here. And to win this was just one of my bigger championships right here. So special moment for me. This battle right here.
I bet, man. Talk us through this battle too. I'm gonna leave the audio down so you can talk us through. I want to know how you was feeling each round. Like, talk us through the details. We want to get the inside scoop.
Word. So yeah, opening round. You know, this beat, of course, I know this beat like the back of my hand because my cousin Lean Rock produced it. But this is actually the same beat.
Shout out to Lean Rock.
Yep. This is actually the same beat that previously, just like 1 month before, you know, and I'm not ashamed to say it, but like Issei he got busy on me to this same beat. So I was like, all right, you know, I got to get you back, same beat. Actually, no, my bad. This is a flex beat. Sorry, I'm tripping. But yeah, he got me on this beat. And I was like, damn, he really got me at Silverback. So I was
Shout
like,
out to Flag as well.
This is my revenge time. So I just had the fire in me, and I could tell, like, after the second round, I was like, I had a feeling. I was like, all right, I got this one in the bag. But yeah, this one was really dope because Issei to me is one of the best in the world, representing Japan. I remember meeting him when he was just a kid in Japan, back in like 2006, and you know, he came out and said that I was one of his biggest inspirations.
Wow.
And for him to take it to where he took it to, because he's amazing to me, probably, you know, easily maybe top 10 in the world.
Damn.
I was just like, man, I gotta get him back, because he definitely caught me at a freestyle session. He got me good. So I was just like, you know what, for me, this was the revenge right here, the revenge match. You know, I got him back, and this was my second freestyle session championship. So it meant a lot for me, and to have the crew there, you know, and inspire them as well was really dope.
Fire. Fire. That's crazy, man. So he's another young prodigy.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Can't take nothing away from that man. He's a beast.
Shout out to Issei, man.
This was definitely like a stamina battle right here. This is the final battle. We were both like pretty tired, pretty done. This is the very last battle of the night. So you know how that is after a long day of battling.
Sure do.
But yeah, man.
This is awesome. Woo! Clean.
I like the vibe of this jam. You know, freestyle session is always a good vibe.
Got the shorties for the. Hey, shout out to the dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I am in the urban action figure right there.
Yeah.
That's my guy. Shout out Bboy right there, another legend. Another legend.
Hell yeah. Wow. Brought it home for the city, man. You got the city on your back, man. You got the city on your back. So that's some battles, man. Like, you know, you've done a lot of them. You won a lot of them. You've traveled all over the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, name some of the countries you've been to, yo, for the people.
Oh, man. You know, I've been to a lot of countries, but for me, it's particularly some of the places that I thought I'd never go. Actually, the first country I want to mention, and continent, actually, and country, at the top of this year before the pandemic hit, back in January going into February, I had the honor to visit the motherland and go to Africa and go and teach workshops in Ethiopia.
Wow.
And that's like the motherland, you know. And so, you know, the energy was real, man. The energy was real. I went out there with Skeem Richards, one of my good homies. So, you know, the vibes were good with him. I was chopping it up with him. He was teaching DJing. I was teaching breaking. We had MC Boog Brown from Detroit teaching MCing, and then we also had Plus One, who was a graffiti artist out of New York City, Brooklyn, and that was really dope, man. Just to be up there with that team, we were vibing crazy, man. We were vibing crazy. So that was really dope. To at least that was my highlight of this year, because literally as soon as I got back home, the pandemic hit and like the world went crazy. So yeah, at least I got to have that experience for 2020. But yeah, some other like crazy places. I've been to Kazakhstan, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Where else? I've been to a bunch of places, you know, the Germany, you know, Canada, Japan, you know, Korea, you know, a lot of places, even South America as well, which is really dope to go out there and build with my Latinos. You know, been to a couple places there, Chile, Peru, you know, of course, Dominican Republic, my native country.
Shout out
I went to Puerto Rico as well. So yeah, man, just super blessed, bro. Super blessed to really just go out and vibe and meet with all these different people. And now I got friends, you know, from all over the world. You know, I got people that I consider family in some of these other countries that I stay in contact with, you know, frequently. And so that's a blessing, man, to be able to share and have that have the honor and, you know, just be that blessed to really represent our city and represent my crew, represent my style, and be able to, you know, teach and like teach workshops and stuff like that. Like when I first started dancing, you know, there was just jams. Like there wasn't even like competitions. There wasn't even like competitions when I first started. You know what I mean? It was literally just a DJ, a venue, and like come out and dance. You know what I mean? And to see where it's gone is it's beyond me. And to see where it's going, you know, I'd like to think that you, myself, and a lot of other dancers who are putting on right now are providing a platform for the next generation, for the youth, to really make a living out of this. You know what I mean? Because right now we're making a living, but you know, it's still a struggle as an artist. You know, you still gotta grind and you still gotta hustle. You know, but I would like to see it one day where, you know, we're respected to where we're also paid well, that we can make a good living out of doing what we're passionate about, which is, you know, this dance, which is hip hop. I think as dancers, you know, we should be getting paid just as much as the MCs, you know, just as, you know,
Facts.
Everybody think, you know, a lot of people think of hip hop and they just think about rap music, you know what I mean? And they don't understand there's other elements to it. So, you know, shout out to everybody, all the artists, you know what I mean? Shout out to Pro Black. I know you mentioned him earlier. He's
big
doing
shout
amazing things. Super proud of that brother, man. So,
up in the MFA
you know,
right now with the exhibition, man. It's fire, man. I got plans to go a couple times. I got a couple tickets.
That right there, man. That right there, man. That's what it's all about, bro. Like, that's just super dope to me. So,
and Pro Black been supporting, man. He's, you know, such a good influence and inspiration to have for the young people. He's encouraged me, man, since I was a little youth, man, walking up in AFH with my Krump fam, yo, like, dog, always show love, bro. Always show love, man. Like, always just like hella positive, hella just real. And yo, I gotta get him on here because this dude, he's literally, he be tapping in, man. Like he got prophet vibes, man. He just, the way he think about life
That's a fact.
Is crazy, right?
That's a fact. Because the last time I chopped it up with him, you know, there's certain people that, you know, you just feel their energy, you feel their aura. You know, they light up the room. You know, for me, that was Float. You know what I mean? So that's why I keep him everywhere with me. You know. He's always by my side. You know, Lino's by my side. I talked to Lino earlier today. And so, you know, the older I get, I only want to be surrounded by those people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't got no time for bad vibes. I ain't, you know what I mean? I ain't messing with it. You know, I don't got no time for bad energy.
Facts, man. Float for sure, man. Every time, man, I seen Float, man, this dude always has some dope shit to say and good energy, man. Like, especially in the early times where, you know, a lot of people, they had a hard time with Krump, man. They didn't really understand it, they didn't like it. But Float was always like, hey, man, I'm trying to get into that Krump thing. You know what I mean? It just meant a lot to feel supported, you know, by somebody that we all, especially all of us young Boston dancers, we had such a high level of respect for, you know. And then I was lucky enough to really be embraced by a lot of the elders, you know what I'm saying, when I first came around along with Float, you know what I'm saying? So, like, Megatron, like, really, like, we met at AFH, actually, you know, and I think that was back in, like, 2008, you know, and I was teaching Krump through Genie's program, and Tron was teaching Poppin', you know, and he was like, dog, man, come over to Slaughterhouse, man. I was like, yo, I got to get through that motherfucker. This shit's crazy, yo. Like, this dude got some, he get down. I'm like, yo, this guy's really out here with this shit. And pulled me in the Slaughterhouse, man, and from there, like, you know, linked up with Shallow, you know, and Domino, you know what I'm saying, and Dash, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, he was bringing a lot of people in. Future, the OG from NYC, You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like that was actually like one of my first official classes that I came through when he was out here in Boston, and he was teaching us the underhanded ways and shit. I was like, oh shit, this shit is crazy as fuck. But I was blessed, man. Like they really helped, and I think that support, because I know, I mean, maybe not a lot of other people before that got that support, and I was blessed to come in when they were all like, yo, we just want to support some young kids coming up. You know what I'm saying? And man, it shit helped out a lot. So I love, you know, it's in me to pay homage to the things that I feel like contributed to my life. And that's what this whole thing is about. Paying fucking homage and respect, man. And we deserve to, you know, our elders deserve to be held in that regard. You know what I'm saying? And it's just fucking dope, you know. And to pay it forward too, you know. To pay that shit forward too. You know.
Words. I'm like on that stage too. It's like I'm not that old. I'm 30, but I'm already feeling like it's time to start giving back. And so that's why that's what I've been doing as far as teaching here the youth. I'm like teaching a lot more, like so much more now.
Speaking of that, where can we find you? Where can we tap into your classes?
Right now, I'm just doing Zoom classes, personal workshops, and stuff like that. But I got something in the works for 2021 where I'm going to be providing free classes. So I'll be announcing that soon. You know, it's something that I'm excited about because it's going to be completely free. And I'm really excited to just tap in with the youth here. Because, you know, I'm not seeing a lot of like young people wanting to dance, not as much as when I was coming up, you know what I mean? So I'm really trying to really tap in with the youth and see who wants to learn. And I noticed, you know, the attention span is a lot less nowadays, you know?
Shit.
So I want to make it really, really fun and make the vibes really good for the kids. And the fact that it's free, it's going to be dope for the parents. For it's going to be early 2021, so the pandemic might still be happening. So the fact that it's free is going to be dope. You know what I mean? So I'll be announcing that soon.
Fire. We'll keep an eye out for that. You know what I'm saying? And also, man, let me know if you need me to drop in, man, and share a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm down to contribute to your program. You know what I mean?
For sure. I'm going to reach out because what I'm doing right now is this company is going to provide us with a charity donation, and you know, I'm going to try to spread the wealth once I get in good with them. So I'm definitely gonna holla at you. I'm gonna holla at my homegirl Michelle from Seventh Element. You know, I'm gonna holla at Candy and Razor. Anybody, Brian, you know, anybody that I could think of that I think could use the help, could use the funding, could, you know, because this company really wants to help. And, you know, I'm just praying all goes well, and it's looking good right now. So, you know, we working.
Fire.
I'm just focused on 2021 because 2020, I threw it in the can already. It's a wrap. It's a wrap, man. It's been such a crazy year, but you know, I'm trying to stay positive and, you know, stay training, and you already know how that is.
That's fire, man. Hey, thank you for sharing all of that, man. Like, this is dope, man. This has been a dope time, man. We coming to the end of our time. For all the people who've stayed tuned in, yo, thank y'all for sticking around and listening and tuning in and, you know, sharing. You know, make sure you give this video a like so you can push it up. That always helps. We got 20 people in here right now. We should have about 20 likes, or at least 18, because 2 of those people is probably me and probably you.
Well, yeah, everybody stayed tuned in, so that's dope. I appreciate that.
I got a couple of last few questions that I always ask. These are my panel questions right here. So let's get into that, and then we'll close out. You know what I'm saying? So one of the questions that I usually ask are our stats are full of highlights of the high points of our journey that summarize our work and our worth. There are stats that most people know, and can pull from your bio or your resume, what are great things you've done in this culture that people may not know about?
Well, man, like I think I just said it, but going to Ethiopia was huge for me. Um,
Mm.
for me, it's not so much like winning the competitions. I think when I'm able to go to these third world countries, like going to Dominican Republic and working with my people out there, going to Africa and working with the people out there, I think that is far more important to me personally,
Yeah.
because I know the effect that can have on the generation out there, the next generation, to really, and I see it too because I stay connected with those people.
Fire. Hell yeah. Same. I feel the same way, man. That's just fire. That's just fire, man. Another one of these questions, always trying to pull at the heartstrings. You know what I mean? Oh, we always trying to
Yeah,
leave
that one caught me. I was
on a
like, damn.
teary-eyed note. Culture is a word that is used often by so many people. Most of the time, it means different things to different people. What is culture to you? What are some of the fundamental building blocks that create a thriving culture? And what are some flaws that may hinder a culture?
To me, I think culture is community.
Mm.
That's the first word that comes to my mind because, you know, without our, the community is what makes the culture. The people is what makes the culture. Um, I feel like the memories as well that we make together as a scene here, whether it be Boston or the world. And as far as things that can hinder it, I think, first thing just off the top of my mind, I think quality of events is something that I think hinders our community sometimes, our culture. I think it's really important to, have qualified DJs, have dope judges, dope OG. And I know you do this with your event, where,
Word,
what I
thank you.
mean? You bring qualified peeps, you make it high quality, dope venue, dope music. That's gonna bring the vibes, and I think we have a lot of events sometimes that fall short of that. I think because people don't really understand how important it is to really, take your time with it. If you need to save up money for 2 years to get the quality judges that you want to come out and teach some quality workshops and really push the scene forward. That's what I would say can hinder our community sometimes.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
negativity too. Negative individuals. Just toxic people sometimes with bad attitudes and aren't positive and don't want to help push the youth forward or just for self sometimes.
Definitely
So
the
those
just for
those two.
self, man. Yeah. Hell yeah. Respect to that answer, man. And then I guess I can get to the super vulnerable one. And this is
I'm nervous.
I So on a vulnerable tip, man, we all make mistakes. Mistakes usually teach us our biggest lessons and propel us further into the right direction if we are able to be aware of it. Extract the lesson and move past it. We are not usually as open about our mistakes as we are about our successes. Share some mistakes that you've made that you may not have that may not have helped you refine, or that may not have helped you. Did I write that right? That may not have helped you. That may have helped you refine your path.
Some mistakes. Definitely, like we were talking earlier, just because I kind of already knew better. Just getting involved with the streets a little bit and not sticking on my direction where God and the universe already wanted me. You know, I was already put there, so it was kind of stupid for me to like get involved with the streets at you know at a certain time in my life. Um, and if I could think of another one, I would say, you know, maybe you know I always try to be a humble person, but you know sometimes getting caught up in your ego can be a mistake. Sometimes, you know what I mean. You know, but we all make mistakes, and you know you live and you learn.
Yeah, for
I'm sure
sure.
I could think of others, but you know I'm
Yeah.
drawing blank right now.
Put you on the spot. um,
Yeah.
and then lastly, man, your work speaks for itself. You built so much over the years and have earned the admiration you receive for being dope. What are some words you would like to leave with those who admire you and your work?
Um, I'll say, I'll say this. I'll just say like, you know, with this, with this, with this dance thing, like I said earlier at the beginning of this live stream, it's a journey. I believe it's a journey of self, to find yourself out and figure yourself out, and within the dance, but also within your soul and your spirit. Um, and I think, you know, getting caught up in like the accolades and stuff like that could always can be a setback sometimes. But I think, you know, just focusing on what makes you happy, you know, practicing because you love it, dancing because you love it, and not because you expect something from it. That's the best advice I would give to young dancers coming up, because you know every you know successful dancer that I know, you know, none of them came up striving to become famous or become, you know, some figure in our community. I think everybody just worked hard and love what they're doing, and that's something that I see. I don't know about in other styles, but definitely in breaking, a lot of the kids are coming up now with that attitude of like, oh, I want to be a champion. You know, I want to win BC one day, and that is like the main focus. And I think they kind of get caught up with that instead of just like enjoying the journey, which is the best part of it, right? And so that's my advice I would give.
It's fire, man. Thank you for sharing that, man. And now you're here. You know what I'm saying? You've done a lot. You're giving back, you know, and you've inherited, you know, the Floorlords crew. You're now leading that and teaching. I want to end with this picture of kind of a before and a now. You know what I'm saying? We got some
Uh,
classic pictures you're gonna bring up. Tell me about this
yeah, man.
picture right here
Well,
on the
that is
left.
right there. That is Floorlords Crew, 1985,
Woo!
downtown Boston, downtown Boston, downtown Boston. Yep, right there, 1985.
Dang, with the
And that
ghetto
picture's
blaster.
crazy. If you look at the ghetto blaster on the speakers, it says Floorlords and graffiti right there.
Dang.
I mean, that's such a classic picture right there.
Who's all in this
And then
picture
right,
from left to right?
let me see. I got to get a little bit closer, but that's a six pack. Uh, Dre, Lino, Cisco, Megatron right there. Uh, Mad, and Mad Flex and Noli, I think. I can't see too well, but yeah, um, yeah, man, yeah. You see Megatron in there. Look how young he looks,
Facts.
and Lino, right? That's funny.
That's
They look
crazy, man.
mad fresh though, mad fresh.
Yeah. And then you got the
And then,
Floorlords now.
and then right there next to it, that's us in the skate park. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
and if I got to get close again, I think that's Mateo, myself. This is from left to right.
Yep.
Mateo, myself, Candy, Lily, Header, Flo, Razor Cut, Arsenal, I think that's Lex, Conan, Hibbs, Sideshow, Dante, and Jacinto. And we're missing Eric. We're missing Eric. Eric was supposed to be in that picture. He came kind of late.
Yeah,
But,
them young lords is hitting right now, man. They getting busy with it, man. I be seeing them all over the place, getting down, traveling.
Yeah, man, we're super proud of them, man. Super proud. Right now, like I said, I'm just putting all my energy into them. Teaching them, trying to make them into little monsters that they are. I mean, they are already monsters, But yeah, I want the best for them. I want them to be better than me and do more than me, and just take it to the next level. Which I'm 100% sure that's gonna happen. So, yeah, those guys. That's the next generation.
That's fire, man.
At this point, I don't even know how many generations there is. There's a lot.
Floorlords been around, man. Floorlords been doing their thing for a long time, man. So shout out to the Floorlords for holding down the culture here in Boston. You know what I'm saying? And influencing the entire globe. Shout out to all our OGs. Shout out to everyone watching. And one last time, you know what I'm saying, to you, brother El Niño, man, shout out to you, man, for all that you're doing and for being a part of this thing, man. Really appreciate you, yo. You gonna be there for the live stream tomorrow?
Thanks for having me, bro. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna tune in for sure.
Yeah, because we got this final battle, you know what I'm saying, between one of Boston's own, you know what I'm saying, Inferna. She's going up against Tampa's Florida Staccato. It's gonna be 3 rounds of craziness, yo. We got the finals, man. This is for $1,000 and then another $1,000 that will be going to their community partner, you know what I'm saying? So this is super crazy. We getting it going. So all those tune in tomorrow between 5 and 7. We also got the final workshops on Sunday. And yeah, we got our campaign, man. Donate, share. I think the best way to help out, man, is just to feel like you can help. A lot of people look at certain things that are moving and they're like, I don't really know how to help. Maybe you don't have the funds, but we all have such a big network. We all know people. We all work somewhere. We all worship somewhere. We all, interact with people on a daily basis. So maybe some people who would want to contribute. So let's get some views on this thing. Let's get some eyes, and let's celebrate for this last thing, man. And we got Russell and Rec, talking about Boston Krump tomorrow during the finals live stream, and that's gonna be dope. We're gonna learn about the history of Boston Krump from 2 of the first and how they've been able to spread that movement. Along with, all the other Boston Krump OGs and including a veteran like myself, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, at one point, Boston was the Mecca for the entire East Coast when it came to this Krump shit. So we got a lot of stories to tell, man. And I'm honored to be able to bring them on and, chop this thing up and archive this information because it's well needed. And we're going to get real deep into it, man. One last time. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Respect to everyone.
Me, everybody tune in, man. Tune in tomorrow and Sunday.
Yo, thank you, man. Everybody, yo, I'm about to tune out this thing. We got some comments in here. I'll shout out to the comments. Sometimes it's not the quantity, but the quality of the people in the mix. Shout out to AA Ron, showing love. Library of Vinyl, dope conversations. Look at that 85 pick. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Let's go up. I talked to Float on a handful of times, and he was one of the kindest guys I've ever met. Wish I got into this when I was younger. Shout out to Jay Boog. You know what I'm saying? I like to echo Stack's sentiment. But on behalf of us middle-aged dancers, just trying to keep up. Yeah, man. Pro Black, Go 5, and so many more talented writers here. Fact. Shout out to all the writers in the city, man. We got some fire writers, yo. Yeah. Shout out to Shallow for jumping on and getting up and watching this thing, man. We appreciate you. Flow Rock and Makeda, who's in the finals tomorrow, was on here. Shout out to Megan. Shout out to Dash for coming on here. Dash, we had you at the live panel. We want you back for this live stream, man. We going deeper with this thing, you know. Yeah, man. Thank you guys for your time. Somebody over here, I didn't even read this comment. It said, not many 30-year-olds with 27 years experience. That's facts, yo. He said, you the youngest veteran out in this motherfucker, man. That's tight. Wow. Shout out. That's woo. Okay, we reaching different continents in this motherfucker. That's what's up. Well, stay tuned in. We got more coming. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. You know, have a blessed rest of your night. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Peace.